Hello and happy Wellness Wednesday. Hang on, let me find, there we go. Good spot for my camera and my laptop. My laptop's on my camera. Welcome to today's live. This is Julie with Balanced Life with Julie, regenerative health practitioner, holistic nutritionist. And a couple weeks ago, I had done a live, which was really a deep dive into food and digestion and how food works within the body. And this is information that I feel like a lot of people still don't know. They don't understand that different foods have different transit times within our body. And when we're eating, when we're mixing up different types of food together, depending on how long or short those transit times are, it can really mess with digestion. And oftentimes when someone is dealing with gas or bloating or just general discomfort, it's really, really important to look at how they're combining their food. So if you have not seen that video, please go back to that video and check it out. It ended up being a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. It's still full of really important, essential information that I think everyone needs to understand about how their body works so that they can make more intelligent decisions with regards to how they're nourishing themselves. So on that live, I said that I was going to talk about protein because protein is such a big topic. And it really is something that is, a lot of people are concerned about. They're always worried about, am I getting enough protein? And if anything, we are actually over consuming protein. I have not met anybody alive that suffers from a protein deficiency. And so in this video, I'm going to just explain what protein does in the body and why we need it, as well as what are the best sources for protein. And I'm going to bust some protein myths. And unfortunately, a lot of these protein myths are very, very prevalent in our culture. And they keep being repeated over and over and over again. And unfortunately, because a lot of people don't actually understand how the human body works, even people who are in the health and wellness space, whether they're naturopaths, homeopaths, doctors, or nutritionists of whatever ilk or health coaches, most of those people don't really understand how protein works in the body and how much our body needs or doesn't need. And so they continue to share the information that they were taught in school, which unfortunately, a lot of stuff that people are being taught is not correct. And I can say that because I went through training as a health coach and then as a holistic nutritionist. And I can tell you that what I'm going to be sharing with you today on this video was not shared in any one of the courses, that previous 3 courses I took before I found regenerative health. And so if you're not familiar with what regenerative health is really focused on addressing the root causes of chronic illness and dis-ease within the body. Our body is divinely designed. It has its own intelligence. And when we give it the proper building blocks for health and well-being, it can actually heal itself. And the foundation of proper building blocks really comes down to proper nutrition, proper hydration. I have been doing this now for 8 years, maybe a little more than 8 years. I don't know, I've lost count. It's been a while. And I can tell you in my clinical experience of having had my practice for this many years is that every single time I have somebody improve the quality of their nutrition and the quality of their hydration, they start to get better. And all that I add to that is usually different types of detoxification protocols like parasite cleansing, heavy metal and chemical detoxification, depending on what is happening with that individual and what their body needs in terms of support. But that deep cleansing isn't something that we need to be doing forever and ever and ever and ever. Anyway, so let's talk about protein. So what exactly is protein? So just protein, your body cannot use a fully formed protein. It actually needs to break it down to its component pieces, which are the amino acids. And our body has most of the amino acids that our body actually needs. It can recycle because our body is smart. It's able to do that. Did you know that your body can even make its own water? True story. So most of the amino acids that our body needs, it recycles from existing material within the body. However, it is just the essential amino acids that we are trying to get from our diet. And but our body cannot use a fully formed protein molecule. It has to break it down into essential amino acids. And then it takes those essential amino acids and it might make hormones, it might make muscle tissue, it could make collagen, it could make enzymes, depending on what it is that it needs. And so that's why in our diet, what we're looking for is we need to have some healthy carbs, we need healthy fats, and we need essential amino acids. And then outside of that, we need trace minerals and vitamins and those kinds of components. And amazingly, what our body needs more than it needs pretty much anything is actually quality hydration. So most people, 75% of people are actually chronically dehydrated. So when you're chronically dehydrated, remember that water is the carrier in your body. It takes oxygen and nutrients to your cells and tissues. So if you are chronically dehydrated, your body is not able to actually transport nutrients to the cells. So hydration is pretty foundational. This is why I'm always talking to people about quality hydration. And I have videos where I've talked about molecular hydrogen and having like water that is molecular hydrogen. That's the type of water that I drink multiple times a day. And then the rest of my hydration actually comes from structured water in fruit. And plants in general. So that's usually what I prefer. And actually fruit is things like watermelons, grapes, those types of more water-rich foods, the melons, those are actually the best source of structured water. So if you're wanting to really address hydration, I would definitely look at the type of water that you're drinking and go check out my molecular hydrogen water video, because it will break down the role of water within the body, the different types of water. A lot of people ask me about reverse osmosis water and distilled water. I break all that down in that video. So go make sure that you go check that out. Anyway, let's talk about protein. Okay. So our body needs only the essential amino acids from our diet. And a lot of people have been, myth number one, most people have been led to believe that you can only get those amino acids and that quote unquote protein from animal products. And that is absolutely not true. Essential amino acids and protein actually exist in all foods, and especially in plant foods. And they're actually in the proper ratio and proper abundance that they need to be, because it's a fine balance. Like more is not always better. And a lot of people have this idea in their head that the more protein they eat, the better it is for their body. And that is not true at all. So yes, we need protein so that our body can break it down into essential amino acids and then use those amino acids to make muscle tissue, collagen, enzymes, hormones. Yes, of course we need it, but we don't want to overdo it. If you overdo it, you actually create stress on your gut and on your kidneys and on your digestive system overall. You give your body too much work to do. And as I've shared in the last video, the last live that I did, when you make digestion incredibly hard on your body, you're actually eating up valuable energy that your body could use for repair work. And so our body only has so much energy. And if your diet is full of animal products, it has lots of processed foods and fast foods and grains and complex carbohydrates, then you're actually making digestion so difficult on your body. Your body is having to work double time, triple time to extract a little bit of nutrition. And you're making it hard on yourself, right? So simplicity is key. Our body is super simple. So if you're looking for the essential amino acids, when you're eating an apple, when you're eating watermelon, when you're eating grapes, not only do those foods provide carbohydrates that your body is it's going to take that fructose and convert it into ATP, right? Which is what energy is in our body, adenosine triphosphate. That's what fuels our body is ATP. That's what our mitochondria are like. Little mitochondria are pushing out ATP, and that's what creates energy in our body. Protein does not create energy in our body. Protein is broken down into essential amino acids, and then those essential amino acids are utilized in order to build the types of things that I've already shared, right? So when you're eating the apple, the grapes, the watermelon, whatever fruit, those foods, not only do they have the fructose, they have some essential fatty acids in them, but they also have essential amino acids. So it's actually a complete food. It's more complete than processed foods, fast foods, or animal products, because animal products have zero carbohydrates, which means that your body doesn't have what it needs in order to make adenosine triphosphate. And it's getting the protein in a very, very complex form, which will take anywhere from 24 to 72 hours to break down through your digestive system. So when you have, like, let's say you have a piece of chicken at 6 o'clock for dinner, the next day, your body is probably still breaking down that chicken. It hasn't been able to utilize any of the amino acids from it. And so if I want energy and if I want to give my body everything that I need, I'm actually going to get that more readily, more easily from fruit, because fruit is the fastest thing to break down and be utilized by our body. Non-starchy vegetables are the next thing that your body can break down easily and simply within 2 to 3 hours, depending on what you're having. And yes, those non-starchy vegetables will also have amino acids in them, right? So it's not like amino acids and protein is just hiding in one type of food. Mother Nature is pretty intelligent that way. So yes, amino acids exist in fruit. They exist in vegetables. They exist in sprouts. They exist in lentils and beans. They exist in nuts and seeds. That they exist everywhere, right? So one of the biggest myths and lies that people have been believing is that you can only get protein from animal products. If that was true, then every single vegetarian or vegan, or I should say more specifically vegans, because they don't eat any animal products, they would all be dead. Right? Because it is something that your body needs in order to make enzymes, hormones, muscle tissue, and collagen. And so while I'm here, actually, there is this trend of, I want to bust, this is the second trend that I want to bust, is this idea that you need to consume collagen in order for your body to make collagen. That's absolutely not true. And here's why. Because when you are consuming collagen, which is a bigger molecule than amino acids, your body now has to take that collagen and it has to break it down again into essential amino acids. Remember that your body can't use complex molecules. It has to break it down into component pieces. So now your body takes that collagen, breaks it down into essential amino acids. It may not reassemble those essential amino acids back into collagen. It may say, hey, I need this essential amino acid to make this hormone over here, so I'm going to utilize it for that. Or maybe I need to make some more muscle tissue or some other, like an enzyme. And so when you're consuming collagen, when you're spending all of this money on all of these ridiculous collagen supplements, I can tell you right now, you can stop doing that. Give your body the building blocks for healthy cells and tissues. If you do that properly through your diet, you should not need to consume all kinds of other supplements, right? For years and years and years now, for over 6 years, I have been living on whole foods, superfoods, herbs. The only supplement I take now is the molecular hydrogen tablet, and that's only because I like mega dosing on hydrogen because I know how beneficial it is for my body in terms of anti-aging, reducing inflammation, and just supporting the mitochondria and my DNA and my RNA. If you look at pictures of me from like 10 years ago, my skin looks better now than it did 10 years ago. And I'm not consuming collagen supplements. I don't have a very complex beauty routine. In fact, if anything, I just cleanse my face in the evening. And there's a video on my YouTube where I talk about my routine, my beauty routine. And then I have one cream that I put on my face, and that's it. I don't use like toners. I don't use like 5 different things on my face. I use one thing. In fact, maybe I'll do an updated video about that because it's been a little while. And so women especially, we've been misled and really kind of lied to about what we need. The more simple it can be, the more basic it can be, the better off you're going to be. So then here's the other thing that I want to talk about with regards to protein, right? Friends of mine, colleagues of mine just had a baby over the weekend, right? And it got me thinking about like what is the nutrient component of breast milk? She has this beautiful baby that she gave birth to on Saturday. And the protein content of breast milk is actually really, really low. It's like 1 to 2% is the protein content, the overall protein content of breast milk. There's more fat in it. It's about 3.5% of fat in breast milk. And then 7 to 8% of breast milk is carbohydrates, right? It's lactose. And the rest of the breast milk is made up of water and like some essential nutrients. That's it. So think of it this way: a brand new baby that is now going to be growing and needs nutrients the most, especially when it's brand new. If protein needed to be the dominant nutrient, don't you think Mother Nature would have designed breast milk that way? No. Or yes, rather, like if protein needed to be the dominant nutrient, Mother Nature would have designed human breast milk to be such that it is on par with the carbohydrate content, or maybe even more than the carbohydrate content. But it's not like that at all, because while our body needs essential amino acids, it doesn't need copious amounts, right? And the lie that a lot of people believe, that they need to overdo it on protein, what this is actually doing in your body is that it's not only is it weighing down your digestion, and especially, if you're plant-based and you're getting some you're focused on having more lentils and beans, then yes, that's a little bit like more intensive in terms of the digestive process, but it's still only a few hours. It's only like 6 to 7 hours to like break down lentils and beans and things of that nature. Whereas with animal products, your bacon, your sausage, chicken, beef, all of those things, fish, it takes your body 24 to 72 hours to break down those types of foods. Now imagine you're having those foods every single day, multiple times a day, at least 3 times a day. Then it's no wonder you don't have energy. There's gut issues going on. You don't have the vitality that you're looking for. It's because so much of your energy is being taken up by the digestive process. I can tell you, as somebody who's plant-based, I don't even do lentils and beans. I get all of my protein from the foods that I'm eating, from the whole foods that I'm eating, some of the sprouts. And yes, I do some superfoods, which have some protein in them, but I don't ever really worry about protein. If I want to make sure that I'm getting enough protein, I will usually do Super Aminos 23, but I don't even do those. And those all has all the essential amino acids in one easy tablet. But I don't even do those a lot. Like I do a minimal amount every day. And other than that, I just focus on whole foods. And the aminos actually absorb into the bloodstream within 23 minutes. So anytime somebody comes to me and they're really concerned about protein, I tell them, I'm like, take the super aminos 23 because the utilization on the aminos is 99%. When you're trying to eat your protein, your utilization is anywhere from 15 to maybe 40%. So in our head, and this goes along with like the way that we've all been taught incorrectly. We've been given incorrect information. And so in our mind, and I know I was like this, was like, when we're eating some food, we're thinking we're getting 100% of all of the macro and the micronutrients in the foods that we're eating. And that is not true, because your body needs some of those nutrients just for energy in order to break down the food. So 15%, 15% of whatever foods you're eating isn't even making it through like your body is not utilizing it for health. It's utilizing it in the digestive process, right? So 15% of the nutrients are now gone. Now you only have 85% of the nutrients left to play with. Now, of how much of those nutrients actually get broken down, digested, absorbed, utilized by your body, it really depends on the state of somebody's health, gut health, in terms of how their enzymes are within their body, in terms of being able to break things down properly, and then how your body can actually absorb that. Because some people, they have a lot of gut damage, and so even if their food is really, really clean and healthy, their body's not utilizing a lot of those nutrients because it's not being absorbed properly through the small intestine. And I have come across this. There's somebody that comes to mind from a few years ago, and she was 100% plant-based, all organic, so conscientious of what she was eating, and yet she had all kinds of rashes on her skin. The doctors thought she had some weird autoimmune condition. They didn't know what it was, but they said that that's what she had. And she was on all of these different medications, and her body was inflamed. She was carrying excess weight. She had like a huge belly. She was puffy around her face, puffy on her arms, all of that. And what we ended up doing with her was having her go on to the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation, which addressed gut health, it addressed parasites, it addressed the quality of her nutrition. But what it actually did was it made it easier for her body to get nutrients in, because she was going on the power shake and she was taking the aminos. So we were basically biohacking her body to get nutrition in, because it was obviously what she was doing wasn't being absorbed through her small intestine. So we needed to find a way to still get the nutrients in, get the healthy carbs, the healthy fats, the amino acids, the antioxidants. We had to find a way to get that into her system, which is what the transformation does. And then at the same time, we were working on her gut health to help repair the damage to her gut, and also start addressing parasites. Well, lo and behold, within 90 days, she was like a totally different person. All the weight was gone. Her skin brightened up. She went from like dull, listless skin to like having beautiful skin. And she lost all the weight. The rashes went away. Everything cleaned up nicely. And yeah, she became like this totally different person. Sorry, I'm like thinking about her as I'm talking. Haven't talked to her in a while. I'm going to reach out to her. So, that's what happens when we actually get nutrition to the cells. And of course, we also focused on hydration. So she got properly hydrated, properly nourished. And then we focused on the detoxification piece and addressed her gut health, addressed chemicals, heavy metals, glyphosate, all of that stuff. And so by the end of the 90 days, she was off all the meds. She went, I have a picture somewhere on my computer. I have a picture of all the pills and the medications that she was taking. And all of those went away. And she was just, like within 90 days, it was done. Right. And so, a lot of what people think they know about food and nutrition, unfortunately, is not correct. And it's really, really unfortunate because I know that some people are trying really, really hard to get their health back on track, but they're operating on information that is factually incorrect. And one of the biggest factual things that is incorrect is that our body needs all of this protein. It doesn't. And just real quick, so you have the information. If you're somebody who does a lot of whey protein, like especially pre-workout, if you're like one of those people, the protein utilization on whey protein is 15%, 15. So if you look at whatever your container is that has whey protein and it tells you 30 grams of protein, just do the math. It's 15% of that 30 grams. That's all your body is actually able to utilize in order to build muscle tissue. This is why I always recommend the aminos, because the aminos always has 99% protein utilization, which is significantly higher than 15%. If you are relying on eggs for protein, the amount of amino acids that your body actually uses is 27%. 27%. Aminos, always 99%. If it's chicken, it's about 32%, right? So do the math, right? Do the math. And the other thing that you have to also factor in is when you're overdoing it on protein, your body's only able to use 32% of the amino acids from that chicken breast. The rest of it actually turns to uric acid and it creates stress on your kidneys, not to mention all the stress that it put on your gut because your gut had to break it down, right? So it's really, really important. If I had one wish, if I was a genie and I could wave a magic wand and had a wish, my wish would be that everybody actually understood how their body worked and they made decisions that make sense. So a lot of people are overeating food, and they're overeating food because at the cell level, they're not getting the nutrients. And so their cells are telling them all the time, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, feed me, feed me, feed me. So they're eating all the time, 3 meals a day, 3 snacks, some people are doing. And so, of course, you're going to be hungry all the time if you're not getting the nutrients from the foods you're eating. So they're eating all the time. They're buying foods that are mostly GMO and completely devoid of nutrients. So you're spending your hard-earned dollars going to the grocery store, buying GMO food that's sprayed with chemicals, pesticides, herbicides. It's grown in soil that doesn't even have the adequate nutrients. And then if you're eating animal products, over 90% of the animal products that are sold in the US, Canada, and Mexico, I'm gonna put Mexico in there because I've lived there and I've seen what goes on there. It's grown in factory farms, and those animals are injected with antibiotics. They're given different kinds of vaccines. So you actually have no idea what is happening with those products. And then not to mention that in terms of human health, it takes your body so long to break down animal products. It is so, so taxing for your system. And so people are hungry all the time. They're buying food that doesn't have nutrients in it. And then the third part is most people don't actually understand how their body works and how their body handles different types of foods. I can tell you, once I started to understand how my body works and what kind of food is ideal that's going to help me to optimize my health, I was like, well, I'm going to do that because I want to be healthy. I want to feel good. And as soon as I did that, guess what? My health got a lot better. And especially when I did the transformation like 6 years ago, I was able to come off of my thyroid medication, get rid of depression, get rid of gut issues, get rid of excess weight and inflammation. And I was all able to do that because I finally gave my body the component pieces that it needs to make healthy cells and tissues, right? So a lot of the things that a lot of the information that people are acting on with regards to protein is just blatantly not true. And my wish would be that everybody take a few minutes to, okay, maybe longer than a few minutes, but to really take the time to understand how their body works and how best to nourish it. And it's like, once you know this information, you can't unknow it. And unfortunately, many people that I come across just don't have the proper information. And even the people that they're going to get advice for their own personal health, those people, they don't have the correct information. Like, to right now, this is October 1st. This is October 1st, 2025. Doctors that most people go to for help with their health, doctors get less than 20 hours of nutrition training in medical school, less than 20 hours. And they are who people go to for advice when it comes to their health and well-being. Like, it doesn't, like, for lack of a better saying, make it make sense. It doesn't actually make any sense. It would be like me taking my car to somebody who has done virtually zero training on how to fix a car, right? You would never go to a car mechanic who hasn't had adequate training. And so it's really important to understand that when it comes to health, first of all, your body is self-healing, right? No one outside of your body can heal itself. But in order for your body to heal itself, you have to give it the proper components. You have to give it the proper tools when it comes to nutrition and hydration. There's no way around that, right? A lot of people will tell you, and maybe I'll cover this on the next slide. A lot of people will say things to help you to feel better about making poor decisions when it comes to your diet. And it's very simple. Every piece of food that you put into your mouth, it's either promoting health or it's promoting disease. Now, we're all adults here. You get to decide what you want to feed. Do you want to feed health? Do you want to feed illness? But then don't be shocked or surprised if you're struggling with illness because your diet isn't that great, But here's the wonderful thing about the human body is that once you understand how it works, once you change your diet and you stay committed to that as a lifestyle, whatever illness that you're dealing with will reverse itself because the body is self-healing, right? Supplements, medications, those are all just Band-Aids. And if you want to be thriving in your physical body, the best thing that you can do is take care of it properly, nourish it, hydrate it, move your body properly, like exercise, get enough sleep. It's actually really simple and easy to keep our body healthy. But it's just that, unfortunately, we live in a culture that wants us fat, sick, and miserable. And they accomplish their goals by continuously, through advertising, through marketing, through social media, through film and television, and through our peer group, pressuring us over and over again, virtually every single day, to eat the very foods that are slowly taking away our health and well-being. And case in point, I'll just share this really quickly. Last week, I was in New York City. So what did I do before I went to New York? I made sure that I packed my superfoods because I do not go across town without superfoods. So I made sure that no matter what, I had my superfoods, and I packed enough that I could do 2 shakes a day easily. So I had my superfoods with me. And then I was so lucky that 5-minute walk from my hotel was a Whole Foods. And I'll share a story real quick about that too. So I went to the Whole Foods and I picked up some fruit, and I was able to find some organic grapes and organic peaches. And so I grabbed some, and I got myself some spring water, and I had my hydrogen bottle with me and my hydrogen tablets and some redox. And I thought, okay, I'm good, I'm covered. But when it came to eating out, because I did eat out a couple of times, I looked for restaurants that were organic, and I was lucky enough to find some. And I made it my mission, instead of taking an Uber, instead of taking the subway, I made a point of walking to those restaurants. Even if it took me an hour, I would walk to those restaurants, to and from, because I wanted to make sure that my body got in some movement while I was there. Now, there was a donut shop across from me. I passed all kinds of fast food places on my walks to the healthier restaurants. I chose plant-based restaurants that were organic, and I could have just as easily eaten junk, but I chose not to. I was like, no, I want to feel good. I don't want to feel like trash. So I'm going to make sure that I find the places that are healthy and that are better than, the junk that they are selling people. But I'm somebody who's educated. I know how my body works. I know how food works in my body. And I'm not going to be influenced and pressured into putting things into my body that I know aren't healthy. And one of the things that I actually just had a girlfriend say this to me yesterday, because we went out to lunch, and she's like, well, but I was like more health conscious, and now I'm just like, whatever. She's walking with a cane. She's done something to her system where her body is so inflamed that her sciatic nerve has flared up, and now she's moving around with a cane. So on the one hand, she's telling me that she's made a decision that she doesn't want to eat healthy, and then on the other hand, she's suffering. She's got pain in her body and she can't move properly. And so I just said to her, I said, look, just because I eat healthy doesn't mean that my food isn't delicious. I eat delicious food. It's just healthy, right? And that's one of the myths that I think that a lot of people have. They have this idea in their head that it's not going to taste good. Now, if you are somebody who's eaten a lot of processed foods and fast foods, I was one of those people years ago. I ate a lot of fast food, a lot of processed foods. And so initially, when you start to eat healthier, your taste buds have to make this adjustment. But it takes a few days, and then your taste buds adjust, and healthy food starts to taste really, really delicious. In fact, like, I love having big healthy salads and fruit and superfoods. Like, it honestly tastes so good to me that I can't imagine eating the chemical garbage, right? So, and then real quick about Whole Foods. So here I am, I'm buying organic produce, and I bought like a few peaches, and I was at an event, and the next day at the event, I opened up one of the peaches and there was mold inside the peach. So of course I had to throw it out and get rid of it. And a lot of times people ask me questions about the superfoods, like, why do I do superfoods? I do superfoods because I know that they are very clean, that everything's been tested. There's no mold, there's no yeast, there's no contaminants in that food. And I'm able to actually give my body a lot better quality than what is being sold in grocery stores. So even here I am as a consumer trying to buy something organic, trying to make a conscientious decision. And I have no way of knowing, because on the outside, the peach looked fine. I didn't know until I cracked it open that I was like, oh my God, this thing is moldy. I got to get rid of it, right? And I mean, how many times have you gone to the grocery store and bought produce and it went bad right away, or it didn't ripen? We've had that happen a few times where we've bought organic produce and it just doesn't ripen. Like, something weird is going on in the food system. And a lot of people are wasting their hard-earned dollars on food that is not food. And I mean, that's just the unfortunate situation right now. So anyway, Below, underneath this video, there is a link to the superfoods that I utilize with a 25% off discount code. Highly, highly encourage you to go check them out. And even if all you have the budget for is starting with like, a Kamut drink every single day, you are going to feel the difference in your body in terms of your energy, your vitality, and overall a reduction in inflammation. So they have a lot of options. They have packs at anywhere from like $1 to $20 a day, depending on what your budget is. I mean, I love the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation because that was the first program that helped me to really turn the corner in my health. And that program got me off of thyroid medication that I had been on for 6 years. I did that program for 6 months solid, back to back. So this didn't happen in 30 days. It took time, but I really wanted to be healthy. And so that's a program I swear by, but there's lots of other options. You could do the Daily Core 4, you can do the fruit and veggie pack. They also have the only third-party tested glyphosate solution on the market that helps remove glyphosate, chemicals, and heavy metals from your gut. So definitely it's in the transformation, it's in the Core 4. But yeah, go check them out. And then the other thing that I want to share is that if you haven't seen my membership, I have a group program called Elevate. And I created this program because one of the things that I have found on my own health journey, and also from what I hear from people who come find me, is that a lot of practitioners in the health space are charging thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars monthly, depending on who the person is, just in service fees. And so that's just in booking an appointment with someone. I have seen myself, like there's a doctor that I follow on Instagram, and to book a session with her is $1,000. But that doesn't include any protocols. That doesn't include anything that you might need to get to support your health. And so I created Elevate with this vision of, drastically reducing the service fee. You get weekly live support with me on weekly calls. Plus, you get the same information that you would get anyway working with me one-on-one in terms of protocols and tools and things to use so that you can get your health back on track. And I created this program to help reduce the service fee and free up your budget so that you can actually use your health spending budget on actual protocols that are going to help your body to regain its health and vitality. So make sure that you check out the membership. And I work with all kinds of people that are struggling with health issues. But the biggest thing I find overall is those who are dealing with autoimmune issues, gut issues, and parasites. The program goes deep into addressing that. And so if you haven't checked out the membership, definitely check it out. It's a great way to help get your health back on track and not break the bank, right? That's why I created that membership. So thank you so much. If you stuck all the way to the end of this video, I want to say thank you. Give yourself a pat on the back for that. Thank you for being here. If you are not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, because I love putting this information out into the world. My wish is that everybody understands how their body works and what is available out there to actually support them in their health and well-being. And aside from that, thank you for being part of my online community. Please share this video with absolutely anyone who can benefit from this information. And I will see you in 2 weeks live here on YouTube. And if you're catching the replay, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.